Okay, this is the watch list for Tuesday, which would be October 13th. Let's start just by really quickly showing you the daily candle on the SPY. All right, I mean, look at this. So you have no direction. It ended up closing about where it opened. You had no shape, no volume, and no range. All right, that is part of the reason if you were frustrated at all trading today. And again, I just traded the morning and left. I just, the volume was non-existent. It doesn't even look like a candle. So hopefully, tomorrow at least, today was a bank holiday. So tomorrow, hopefully at least, we'll get back to somewhat normal trading, maybe a little bit better range in the SPY, and hopefully some individual stories. Because to me, somebody asked me today, why don't you just trade the SPY since you always watch it when you're trading? I said, well, the SPY to me is one of the toughest things to predict because especially on a day like today. But even without that, it's just really, really choppy. I said the only reason I really want to watch the SPY is to make sure that if I'm finding an individual stock that's setting up the way I like, that I'm not fighting the SPY. The SPY sideways, in other words, the market's sideways, and I've got a stock setting up short or long, I'll go ahead and take it. But I don't want to take a long if the SPY is ripping to new lows. So that's really the extent of my interest in watching the SPY. Just make sure I'm not swimming against the tide. I hope that makes sense. So we got Tesla here. I haven't had a trade in this, but just another red day. Probably getting, if you draw an imaginary line here, it's probably getting close to a trend line. I mean, I don't see a lot of support here, but it's also come down from basically 250 bucks over a week down to 215. Tesla, kind of a former Colt stock, and you can't help but, well, I can't help but love the company and what they do. So I think when this does turn, you could get a really nice, just a day trade, a really nice bounce. So kind of looking for a bottom here in Tesla one of these days. Could be tomorrow. We'll see. TWOU just got ripped today. I think it was Citron put out some negative report or something. Big volume. It's come pretty far. It was 36, maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks ago, down to 24. I want to watch that one for a bounce. We get a gap down tomorrow. That might be a really good potential long entry. Now, keep in mind, that's only with a proper setup. But I think that one might be overdone in the short term to the downside. So it goes on bounce watch. RDUS, again, just on bounce watch. Very close to the 200-day here and not too far away from the August lows. I think that one's overdue for a bounce. A lot of times I'll have something on bounce watch for 3 or 4 days because it just keeps grinding lower. People email me, say, why didn't you just short it 3 or 4 days ago? And my answer is, I wish I would have, but I don't hold overnight. So what I do is try to find some stocks that might give me a trade tomorrow based on the daily chart. I hope that makes sense. And tomorrow, too, with the holiday being behind us, hopefully we can get back to some nice gap plays because I make a good percentage of my money on morning gap plays. Okay, so WGBS. Lower float, lower price stock. I had this huge move here, and it came back, gapped up. That gap was, kind of jumped on by shorts, but then it gaps up again. So shorts have got to be a little nervous the way this thing likes to spike up and run, even though, they're knocking it down intraday. They knocked it down intraday. We're back down to the 8-day and the 20-day. It's a good candidate, in my opinion, for a bounce. And remember, I'm just looking for a percentage, a potential percentage mover, and WGBS certainly falls into that category. I mean, $2 stock that traded 15 million shares a few days ago. That has my attention after a couple down days. All right. To a lesser extent, WPCS. Now I like the daily chart, but it's back down to the 8-day, pretty close to the 20-day. But this one didn't have that massive volume. It does make decent moves at times, and it's starting to have some nice support below. So I think that's also worth watching for a bounce. I kind of like that WGBS better, though, for possible percentage move. EVOK, this looks actually like it needs to come in some more, but because we had a red day. But then you also look, there was almost no volume today. So this one might just be back on the horse tomorrow. And we've had some really good trades in that. So while the daily chart isn't exactly tearing it up, it is, the longs are kind of in charge here after the shorts have done a good job here. Now the longs have really kind of caught up and are gaining control. Today might have just been a low volume pullback on a holiday, and that might just resume tomorrow. So I do like this one, the way it moves at times. Lumber Liquidators LL, a couple sessions ago, This was as low as 14.16, and then in 2 sessions it squeezed all the way to 21.74. Again, low volume holiday. This pullback might have been a one-day thing, and it might. This is a good candidate with this kind of squeeze that it made. This is a good candidate for maybe a narrow range for a while, and then an upside break again tomorrow, and a little bit more short covering. So I kind of like the fact that it came in on a low volume holiday day, if that makes any sense. And then NAT, kind of an interesting daily chart. Ran up here to 1750, then a lower high, and now it's taken out that lower high and sort of flagging and strong today. So over today's high would be 1676, and then just to the left we have another possible catalyst over 1690. So if you get through this, you might head up back towards 1750. So kind of like these stacked catalysts there. Again, let's hope for some gap plays in the morning as well. The holiday's behind us. I don't expect big volume this week, but it certainly should be better than today, all right? I'm going to wrap it up, and we'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Have a good night.